Hello everyone, welcome back to Dungeon Maker, here on the World of Madness server. So, it is the first week of December, which means everybody's getting fancy, including my hat. And I have actually gone back from the World of Madness Christmas meet, which happens annually, although I've only managed to make it 2 of them. And not much, honestly, has happened around here, because I've been rushed off my feet, but it was fun to have a few hours at least with the other, what would you call them, the Worldians? I don't know exactly what our collective name is, but maybe we can come up with one in the comments. But yeah, I've done a little bit of work around here. The Dark Prismarine is still by far the most painful thing to get, because it is a 1-to-1 with the ink sacs that I can generate, and that is the most time-consuming thing I have to do. I might try and make some kind of trap underwater for them, I don't know, but let me see, what else have we gotten done? Well, we've got these pillars in, we've got most of this ceiling in now, which I think makes it look less of an abstract now. I think it fits in better now that there's more of it, at least. But I know opinions will be divided, but I think it blends nicely here, and obviously there's a big contrast with this flooring, but that's kind of intentional, and it'll look better once there's more shape to it like this. Although I still need to figure out exactly what my repeating pattern looks like, because these are sort of like wedged together however I need them to be. But I did manage to rebuild most of my stuff after I got back from my grand adventure, and I actually now have a Silk Touch and Fortune free pick, so consequently I can pick up dirt and grass and all sorts without actually having to lose all the stuff on it. I can do a bunch of interesting things like having diamond ore laid around some places, but for now it's just sitting in that chest while we get to work. And a few things have happened. So naturally what I was going to start work on once I got back from my little expedition was the mob spawner section of affairs, and indeed I have done some work upon that. So if we head over to here, and we go in here, where did you come from? I'm gonna die, aren't I? Nope, but very close. Thankfully I am still replete with cod. Which is a sentence I never thought I'd ever actually say, but I have. Okay. Alright. There we go. Bones from the skeleton, fish bones from eating. And what's that? Power 1? Meh. It doesn't beat my power 3 punch 1. Okay. So, down here we see an errant block in the middle of the pathway, which also has been tidied up a slight bit. And I also started building this just so I knew where it would be. This is the offshoot that goes into the kobold section. And up here, if I just quickly peel her up, doop, 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 we have a box. And in this box will eventually be going a spawner. Now, I'm thinking it will probably go around about there. Just get rid of that. Get a better idea. But, like, the idea here is that I have, like, 2 boxes of glass on top or whatever, and the skeletons spawn and they go under. But it is 4 blocks this way, 4 blocks that way, and all the other directions as well, because that is the range of a mob spawner. It's a 9 block by 9 block space. What concerns me, though, is this altitude, and also if there isn't, like, room for them to be bobbing around in water when they're being flushed down this central point, then it'll slow down and potentially it'll even clog entirely, and that's not good. We want to make sure we have an ample and steady supply of murder heading into the dungeon. So I might need to lift this roof up another block, and there is, unfortunately, a problem with that idea as well. So let me see, the easiest way out is probably down this way, or at least the fastest way that I can think of, to get to the area of which I am thinking. Except it's the dead of night, ain't it? Oh boy. Okay, this is going to be a little bit more painful, but yeah, that's fine. I can deal with pain. I am accustomed to it. So, yeah, we head down here, and we can actually now see this. I'm going to have to put some kind of like decorative facade between that hole and, say, around about here, I think, just so that it doesn't look so obviously like, oh hey, there's the workings of the clock. Because as neat as I find that, it does somewhat ruin the aesthetic. So, yeah. And I still really need to repave that little piece there. But yeah. it's sort of on the low level of priority on my to-do list around here, so we won't take the speedy elevator because it's a little bit on the side of inaccurate today, or a little bit unreliable for some reason today. Nope, there. Okay. And of course it's nighttime. Right. That's just... This is taking significantly longer to show than I thought it might. Okay. Bed! Thank you. Please, yes. Right. Hell. Also, some of the squid command blocks are back, so natural defenses. Can get blinded by an underwater squid. Thank you, monkey, for working on that. Okay. Once more to the surface with feeling whilst everything is dying and on fire. So, we come out through here, we head over to here, we mine the creeper, we mine the husk. Unfortunately, my sword isn't actually enchanted just yet, but you should be fine. And you have a helmet, which is why you're still alive. I can fix that for you, though. I say alive, you're not strictly speaking anything. And that just bounced... Why are these bouncing straight off you? Okay, fine, I'm just gonna stab you. Okay, that'll do. I'll take that. Fend me, skeleton! Fend me! Thank you. Oh, and he's bringing me the loot. You are such a helpful husk. Unfortunately, you still have to die. Okay. Yeah, my arrows just bounced right off it. What was happening there? Cool, this place is covered in them. I'm not really sure which ones are mine. There we go. Okay, so the problem we have with lifting that roof is more or less the lighter version of the problem I'm going to have all the way down this line, because this is the surface. And as you can see, I've already had to, like, deal with the collapsing of some sand pockets that were here to begin with, but more importantly, this is just the side that hits air immediately. This is the part that surfaces. But if we look down here, we can see the problem only gets worse the deeper in we go, because that problem we've been having where we keep hitting ocean, yeah, we have nothing but ocean here. Like, the ceiling is immediately before the ocean here. So there is no way that I'm going to be avoiding dealing with all of this water at all from this point upwards. So pretty much we need to dive at an accelerated rate for the next level below this in order to avoid some degree of this water. And even then, all of this seabed, like, do you see any sand down here? No, it's all gravel. So every single time I have to dig slightly further up, I have to worry about hitting a pocket of gravel, and then in comes the ocean again. So yeah, that's a headache and a half. Apparently this tomb was not built before the ice caps melted. Well, so yeah, that's something I have to deal with. I also should cover up that one particular jack-o'-lantern, because that's a little bit on the nose. And I don't know if I'm going to try to bury the structure here. I think it'll still be in the rules that you have to go through the front and not try and dig in from the ocean side, but yeah, it's a problem. Yeah, there's so many squid around here. I don't know why they're so abundant, but they are. But anyways, I digress. Let me just get back out here because I need to go in through this way. So the actual plan for the mob spawners is, according to Monkey at the Christmas Do, the command blocks for getting the mob spawners in have been fixed and are consequently usable again. So the way that things will go is I'll obviously be blocking off both of these pathways that lead out of this sanctuary, but the one that's up here is just going to be a straight skeleton spawner, and then we'll just flush them over to this side. We might try and keep it central so that if we want to, we can, like, flush them over to that side as well. These will be significantly blockaded so that you can't climb up, but the skeletons will still climb down, thereby preventing players from using this middle point. And then on this end, we get into our sorting area. So we have to get probably 2 or 3, if we're lucky, zombie spawners together. And we want to be specifically filtering out the baby zombies And then maybe we can filter the adults down to another section. Maybe we'll use them for the kobold side of things, or maybe we'll just drop them into a pit where we can collect their loot and provide it as some form of bonus treasure. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas about that. One thing I do also need to do down here, though, is this particular section that leads to... Well, I think it's about this section, actually, that leads to the next sanctuary. So over there, we can see the kind of cutout section where it's dripping a bit. Needs to be a flush redstone 3x3, or at least some kind of degree door. And I think what I'll be doing for that is I'll have a sequential vertical piston array. Maybe. I'm trying to think here, because I have to try and figure out how I'll have sand work for this. And it might just be that I have some system that manages to filter sand up to here, and then another side that drops here. That's the very old way that you'd do it. So basically this whole section is just filled with sand. I don't have any sand in my inventory. That's not helpful right now. Thank you. So basically the whole thing is filled like that, and you think, oh, well, it must be like that part from the sanctuary that we saw in the first place that's just been, like, filled with sand from a cave-in or something, and then you'll find the right way to open it, and it'll all drop down and some such. Alternatively, I can have it full of sand and have open fence gates. That is entirely an option. Or I could even use glass panes and iron bars, another option there. Just basically any two blocks that don't connect or are by their own nature passable and are also technically solid, and then sand on top. And hey, free ink, I'm not going to pass it up. Yay, that is another block for my floor. I swear, dark prismarine must be like the most ostentatious block you can find, apparently, because it is so ridiculously time-consuming to get a lot of it. Ugh. I should have kept all of the dark prismarine from the actual, like, ocean monument. Maybe that's my use for the next monument. I just, like, steal all of the dark prismarine from it. Maybe that's what I do with it. Eesh. So, yes, then they will come down here, and the next area has the first... I say boss, but the more I think about it, the more infeasible it is to generate a boss creature when I've got purely, like, everyday Minecraftian accoutrement. I don't have access to, like, the deific summoning powers of elders. I don't have, like, the commands, the blocks of command that operators have access to. But no, here I am, just trying to busy my way through building a dungeon, and, you know. So, first things first, I think we're going to have a drop. We're going to switch things up a little bit here, just to let you have this sort of warning sign of, oh, this is different. What comes next will probably be different. So there'll be like a ladder or a pit or something that you climb down a bit. And then that'll get you into the next level, which will also be deeply underground, and ideally less underwater. And then we will have some kind of trap, some kind of system that maybe alternates what it does or acts unpredictably using a randomizer. We can do what we like. And I'm thinking something sort of Temple of Doomy, perhaps. Where you go down and it triggers a lava flow that comes in behind you. And maybe that lava flow has a timer so that it shuts off after a while, in which case it's just sort of, you get down and then it starts to, like, it pops out the corner, it's creeping forward, and of course, because you're in adventure mode, or you're supposed to be, acting as though you have to move backwards, so you actually are pressured to move onwards, and away from where you just came down, and then we can have, like, a splattering of dispensers in the corners, or maybe we can go back to... Let me just see if I can find it, and this is a thing that we should probably consider as well, is like shutting off a few skeletons to the trap, like corridor down here, the fake ending. Because we need to have those in the wall, so we have like pistons that pull the blocks out so that the skeletons can see and shoot at our would-be victims. Excuse me, hiccups. But, that is what I currently have in the works. Now I am, to break character for a brief moment, very busy. And one thing that I have realised whilst I was trying to reconstruct all of my gubbins, is in fact, we don't really have a decent solution for grinding experience on this server, at least not that I'm aware of. So those 20 levels that I currently have are dominantly the result of murdering random mobs and, like, smelting stuff. And it works, but it's slow, and when you just died and lost your gubbins and you need to make new gubbins, then you need to get a lot of XP quickly, which is not easy when you do not have gubbins. So, consequently, one thing I might want to consider trying to do is putting together an actual mob farm. Now, it is worth noting that Sparks, Accidental Games on Twitter, I believe, does have a sort of grinder. It is extremely basic, it is in the Nether, and it is a skeleton spawner turned wither skeleton spawner. And they just drop a bit into a hole and you stand at a place and hit the feats, pretty much. It's very straightforward. It also doesn't take them down to half a heart, so you have to actually waste a few different swings to kill them. And it doesn't have anything in the way of an actual collection mechanism, so you have to sort of tempt fate and lure them to the space. Which I can probably guess is due to the sheer fact that it's in the Nether, so consequently there's no water, so consequently you can't wash them where you like. But I think there are ways that we can make a better one. Now, I'm fairly certain that the optimum in terms of XP grinding is actually Endermen. And that, unfortunately, means that the optimum place for us to build a grinder of any kind is the end, where the dragon still is. So, there's that to consider. I don't think I'm going to do that. We might, therefore, make a return to Hubris and see if we can fix up the slime spawner to create an area where you can get experience and as well as a few more other vital ingredients more readily. Let me know exactly in the comments where you'd like me to be next episode, and I shall see if we can summon forth some efforts. That said, I'm going to spend a few more hours prettifying this room, because I'm getting a little bit tired of seeing dirt and stone and all sorts of walls. So, with that, sorry, once again I've had an episode which is mostly just me talking to the air as I wander around the complex. We should get... it would be nice to get some more time lapses into things, I know. But I'm not quite sure where to start. So, you have your avenue for input there. And with that, I hope you enjoyed, and I shall catch you all next time.